ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the podcast, the Drafted Up Podcast. Today is our final Couch Scout Series ranking. We're giving you our top 20 with full dives on our top 15 edge rushers for the 2025 NFL Draft. We are 9 days away as of this recording. Nicholas, how you doing?
Better. We made it. We've made it through. I'm here, healthy, pretty much. Kind of, obese, but that's okay. It's America. We're here to talk about edge, baby.
This is America.
We've made it. We finally made it. Last Couch Scouts. After this, we got our mock top 100. We're in the fucking zone, dude. We're here.
Yeah, we are in the back end of the thick of it. We're almost in the thin of it.
We're in the best part, though. We're in like the tape's done, reports are done.
Yeah,
we're in the good part. We've made it through hell.
Any tape I'm watching right now is like sleeper 6th, 7th rounders that I hear people bring up. Be like, oh, let me check this guy out real quick, see if there's any juice.
One of those guys is Tommy Melton from Montana State, quarterback. I've recently watched that guy.
I saw on Twitter that the Bengals had that guy in for an interview. So
he's going to be like a developmental receiver gadget guy. Yep. Yeah. Exactly, but do not be surprised if his name gets called round 6, 7, very late in the draft. But I expect his name to get called at some point.
Yeah.
So, gotta watch him.
Social medias, we're over on Twitter, @DraftedUp_pod.
We're there.
Give the account a follow. I do my best to be semi-active. Right now, it is just me posting that the show's out. And then, of course, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Like, rate, subscribe, review, all that good stuff. Share, whatever you got to do. Search Drafted Up Podcast. We'll be there. Anybody who's watching, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Why are you watching and not subscribed? That don't make sense. Yeah. But if you are subscribed already, thank you. Pass the word. We appreciate all the support from you guys.
That's why we're here. We're here for them. We appreciate you listening to our horrendous voices and some bad takes for sure. But hey, some really good takes. I know.
Mom always told me I have a voice for radio. Face for radio. Face for radio.
Face for radio.
Yeah. Never mind. Disregard. All right.
Yep. It is what it is. We
tried. You ready to dive in? Top 20?
Yeah, sure. Let's get it. That's why we're here.
Who, like I said, we're going to just name off our 20 through 16, and then we'll really deep dive into our top 15. And chances are there's going to be some names in my 20 through 16 that are probably in Nick's top 15 and vice versa. Yeah. So we're going to talk about 15, more than 15.
It's a deep class.
Yeah. Your guy, Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, who you have as an interior guy, you talked about him last week. He missed my cut. I did have him as an edge rusher. He was my 21 fun player. I liked watching him, but I think in most classes, he's probably a top 10 high upside guy, but this class is so good that he just missed my top 20.
Yeah, I get it. I think he's going to play all over the line, interior, edge on some teams. So, yeah, I get why you value him as an edge. I think he's going to be more of a gadgety kind of line guy. But, yeah, he was on my interior. He would probably be towards the 15 to 24 range on edge.
Georgia's full of all these guys where they could move them all around. Yeah. We're going to talk about 2 of them for sure in our top 10s, I'm sure. All right. Hit me with your 16 through, or your 20 through 16.
20 through 16. So just right on the outside would be Jared Ivey, another guy who could play all over the line. Ole Miss. He was my 21, so he just missed out. So my 20 is Savion Jones from LSU. 19, David Walker from Central Arkansas, I believe, Division 2.
Yep.
18, Jordan Birch from Oregon. 17, Femi Aladejo, UCLA. 16, Landon Jackson from Arkansas. I get why people have him higher. I have him low.
I'm blown away that you don't have Femi Oladejo in your top 15.
More than Landon Jackson. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised about that.
He's the big hype guy right now. A lot of people love his...
I think he's all flash. I think he's going to be a really good 3rd to 4th round guy. That's where I think he's a true developmental guy. I don't think he's...
Yeah, we'll get into it. He's in my top 15, as is Landon Jackson.
I figured.
So I'm also surprised Jordan Birch. I figured you were going to be higher on him. He's one of the guys. He's in this group for me as well. He didn't make my top 15, but I've seen people have him top 10. A
He's a
lot of
guy that's
people
been
like him.
he's been fluctuating the last couple of days for me. The highest I had him was 13.
Okay.
And just the last 2 days, he's just dropped a bunch. I've been really squeezing in a couple guys that I've liked more than him.
All right. So my 20 is Baron Sorrell from Texas. At 19, I have David Walker from Central Arkansas. 18, I have Savion Jones from LSU. 17, Jack Sawyer from Ohio State. And 16, Jordan Birch from Oregon.
A little low on Sawyer, but yeah, dude, I get it. He's also another guy that's... I had him probably like 15, 16 the last couple of days, and then he's grown on me a little bit more. He's not much higher than my 15, but he did make my top 15.
Did Baron Sorrell make your... Did Baron Sorrell make your top 15?
He's right on the outside. He's 22.
Oh, he is the mighty Merkley prospect. Yeah, this sure. Dude, I'll just give a brief thing. Freakless, Feldman's Freakless, 425-pound bench press, 575 squat, 355 power clean. I literally have written down, why does this guy own shirts with sleeves? He is a monster.
True muscle
He's got
machine.
the look. He's got the look.
Yeah, for sure.
And then David Walker doesn't have the look.
He's fun.
But he's
fun.
Real product. 39 sacks over 4 years. Yeah. I think he's going to be a good, kind of reminds me of Mo Kamara from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Shorter.
I loved Mo, dude.
Yeah, not your typical edge. I think he'll find a home as well. Mm-hmm. I would take him in the 4th round, but I think he's probably more
he's going to go probably a little bit later. Yeah,
round 5 guy.
He's going to be a really nice add to just any defensive line team. He's not going to be a guy that can play every down, but he's going to be a nice rotation guy, and he just brings a lot to a team. And I like the way he plays, dude. He scraps.
Okay, so you have Sawyer in your top 15.
Yeah.
And I have Oladejo and Landon Jackson, so I'm interested to see who this other guy is that you don't have in your top 15. That you do have in your top 15 that I don't have in my top 20. All right. Who do you got at 15?
Josiah Stewart, Michigan.
Oh. Okay. That hurts.
All right.
He's in my top 10.
Ooh. All right. I figured the line was going to be all over the place for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's just start talking about some of these guys.
Yeah. My 15's Ashton Gelati.
All right. I got him a little bit higher. I have him at 13.
Okay. 14, I have Oladejo. Olufemi Oladejo.
Let's go all the way to 11. Let's go all the way up.
So 15, I have Ashton Gelati from Louisville. 14, I have Olufemi Oladejo from UCLA. At 13, I have Princely Uman Mielen from Ole Miss. At 12, I have Landon Jackson from Arkansas. And then at 11, I have Braden Swinson from LSU.
Okay. All right. So I would assume our difference is this guy. So yeah, 15 was Josiah Stewart from Michigan. 14 is Kyle Kennard from South Carolina.
Is the
13,
guy.
There's the guy. 13 is Ashton Gelati from Louisville. 12, Jack Sawyer, Ohio State. 11, Princely Umami Ellen from Ole Miss.
Okay. Let's get the guys that are we have different. So Olufemi Oladejo, Landon Jackson, Jack Sawyer, and Kyle Kennard. I don't have my report for Kyle Kennard. I had him at 22. So tell me what you like about Kyle Kennard from South Carolina.
Hold on, I'm scrolling through all my messages here. Here we go. Kyle Kennard. Long, lengthy frame, slippery at times. He wins with a smooth get off the line, and he has really lengthy arms to keep guys at bay. His strikes are really well timed, knows when to hit a guy, moves really well side to side, always smooth movements. But his pass rush is very predictable, needs to work on hand skills, gets knocked off balance a lot, struggles a lot shedding blocks quickly, needs more moves and counters, and he's slow to pick up on blocks. But I love the way he's lengthy. He's able to get to tackles quick and use his arm extension to just move guys here and there. I just think he's going to bring a lot to the pass rush stand of a team. He's going to be a designated pass rush guy probably right off the bat. He needs to develop the anchor to sit on the outside and just really lock down the edge. but I love the way he gets after the tackle and just pushes him. He's got a decent bull rush for a guy that's lengthy and not really big.
Mm-hmm.
I just like his game, dude. I think he's going to be a pretty good designated pass rusher for the next couple years.
Yeah. Kyle Kennard, 6'4", 262, 10-inch hands, 33 and 3/4 inch arms, 80-inch wingspan. He ran a 4.81 at his pro day, a 4.73 at the combine. So he did put on weight for his pro day.
Yeah. He bolts back up.
Yeah. Led his team in sacks the last 2 years. He led the SEC
Very productive.
in sacks last year with South Carolina. Transferred from Georgia Tech the year before, where he only had 6 sacks, 11.5 this past year. But yeah, I like his get-off. He had a good get-off. That was one of the first things I wrote down. The first game I watched of his was against Will Campbell, and he bullied him. And I'm just like, oh, okay, this guy's... And I just feel like he never got back to that point. Like, yeah. So he ended up kind of falling out of my top 20. I went 22, but he's still probably 4th, 5th round guy. He's going to bring value to a team. Consistent motor, production. Like I said, the last 2 years been really good. He does use his arms to his advantage. He's a real long arm. It's just, I just didn't see a consistent pass rush.
It's not consistent.
His move to move. I thought he got stuck in the mud a lot. And he tried to be more finesse than violent, and I feel he's more of the type that should just be in your grill, pushing you around because of his long arms. Yeah,
his arm extension, he needs to be, like you said, he bullied Will Campbell. He needs to be more of that, to where he tries to just add these quickness, these flashy steps, the quick burst, and he does have the really quick burst, but his body control doesn't let him be flashy. He needs to be more consistent with his power for sure. But I do like what he brings for the pass rush.
Yeah. All right. Femi Oladejo, UCLA. 6'3", 261, 9.78 inch hands, 33 7/8 inch arms, 81.5 inch wingspan, 36 vertical jump inches, 36.5 inches, and a 10-foot broad. So UCLA edge rusher, former off-ball linebacker. Him moving to edge actually allowed Carson Schweschinger to play football this year. So,
which was a wise choice. He was a bum as a linebacker, dude.
Yeah. My little pro, Femi Oladejo, still incredibly raw as a pass rusher, but his tools in his pass rush attack got better as he grew into the position. Former off-ball linebacker, so he offers you some lineup versatility, and he's not afraid to do that dirty work, drop into coverage, chase down ball carriers, defend the run. Non-stop motor, plays relentlessly, and that alone is going to earn him snaps in the NFL. Right now, I do think he's just a straight rotational guy as he develops, a true pass rush technique. Because right now he's just winning on power and effort. I think his ceiling is probably higher than a lot of the guys ranked above him. It's just he's so raw, and you just see those guys just don't always work out. Like there's a lot of projection in his ceiling there. But I like the game. I ended up with a 14, which I think is actually still a little lower than consensus. I see him creeping towards people's top 10s. But
and that kills me, dude. I don't think he's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
I think he could be, but just right now, he's so raw and he's not consistent at all. I think he's way more of a designated pass rusher compared to Kyle Kennard. Like, I don't think he's going to be an every down kind of edge. So I can't warrant like a second round pick even on that. Yeah, I just think he's like a third round, fourth round kind of guy.
I've seen him going.
It's not that I hate him. I like his game. I love what he brings as a 1-year edge rusher. I just want more, and that's why I'm not willing to take him in like the second.
I'd value him more in the 75 to 100 range. Mid to late third round is it is how I evaluate him. But
yeah,
I like his range as a playmaker, really good tackler. His hand power and just his power in general. He's really good at separating from blocks. He's physical as a run defender. Really hot motor. Like, I just love the relentless. Like, he's just go all the time. And
for sure.
And you could see that his pass rush technique, he developed a spin and chops throughout the season, like compared to week 1 in college. Like, he was still just had no refinement, whereas he got better as an actual pass rusher, but still undisciplined. He had a lot of unnecessary penalties. He's got to develop more of a plan, like I said. And his use of his hands are really still just a work in progress. Like, he's got to get that accurately timed out. But I think he's got great upside, but
he does. He does.
with how good this class is, it's same with like Tyrion Ingram Dawkins. Like, there's just a lot of good guys in this class where like I can push down the upside guys and not have to project them as top 7 kids in this class.
Even that, I still think that I have a couple projection guys in my top end, but he's just so raw compared to even those guys. And he's a straight rusher kind of guy. He's not going to move side to side well. And that's why they moved him from linebacker. He's literally just a lateral kind of guy. Lateral. He's just going to go straight. He's a straight line speed. He gets stopped way too easily. He's heavy footed. I find him usually in the wrong spots half the time. Like, he's bad at making adjustments and
his
realizing
play
what plays are.
is rough.
It's bad. Yeah, it's bad. But that's all going to come with time and development. And that's all it is. He's a true development kind of guy. I love his upside. I love his traits. I just think of him as like a 3rd or 4th round kind of guy. So I have him a little bit lower. I get it, then consensus. I have him at 17. So it is lower than what people are saying. So I do get it.
Speaking of 17, that's where I have Jack Sawyer, Ohio State. We'll move on to him. 6'4", 260, 9 1/4 inch hands, 32 1/8 inch arms, 76 3/8 inch wingspan. Strong muscular frame. He's got the framework. Physical hands. Yeah. He's got some good hands. He swats. He's not afraid to hit you in the chest. A high IQ football player. Good with diagnosis skills. My thing with him is I think we're just focusing too much on the what have you done for me lately? Like, we just have the fresh Ohio State playoff run.
His
4.5
playoff
sacks, 6 pass breakups in their 4-game stretch to the title, but he lacks bend. I don't think he can get to the pocket that well. His burst off the line, edge speed, good tackles aren't going to let him get around. They're going to put him down, and then arm length isn't great either, so he gets out leveraged by bigger tackles, and he just doesn't. He lacks that ideal length and stature as a front end guy. So I just think he's a guy with a really good floor who's just gonna bounce around the league a lot and be just like, I don't think he can be a rotational pass rusher because he's not a good pass rusher. So he's going to be like a 4th defensive end who's going to come in on like 3rd and shorts to try to stop the run. And I just never think he's going to be more than like the 3rd lineman on the team because he doesn't give you a ton of pass stuff. He's just an effort player who's just a good football player. He's going to make the room better. I just don't think he necessarily makes it better himself. He's more just of the rah, like good player in spurts. I just don't see that translating to a high level in the NFL.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree. I just see him. I think both Ohio State guys are just really good floored players this season, being him and JTT. JTT, I haven't said yet. I see him a little bit differently, but I think they're both just really safe floor kind of guys, high football IQ. So Jack Sawyer, he's a compact frame, thick dude. His game's built around his power. He's really strong hands and the ability to use them really well, and they're always used properly. His hands are never out of place, and that's what I love about his. Like, he knows how to win. I don't know if that's going to come at the next level. Yeah. Like, he won at college, but the way he did it, I don't think it's going to translate well due to his arm size and his stature. It's going to be harder for him to move tackles at the next level because they're bigger and stronger. So I do get it. But the way he sets an edge is great. I love that he's able to anchor because he's a thicker dude. So like you said, he's going to bring a lot to the run game. But if the run does kick to the outside, he doesn't have the burst to kind of kick to the outside and stop it. So it's really only...
Yeah, he doesn't have closing speed either.
Yeah, his rush ability is limited and his run stopping ability is limited. But I love his power and his will to win. We'll see if his motor and his power is enough to succeed at the next level. I just think he can get it done. I don't think it's going to be at like a high level. Like you said, he's going to be a rotation guy. But I think he brings a lot to the room by the way he just carries his self. He's a great character guy. He's just a dude that you want around. Exactly.
He's going to be a good interview. Yeah.
He's going to go higher than I expect him to. I have him at 12, but there's a chance he's one of the top 10 guys drafted.
Would you take him in the second round?
No, I think he's a third round guy.
Yeah. He's he's probably on the outskirts looking in at my top 100. So I've fourth round is really where I'm just willing to take on this. I just don't like that there's really not a ceiling for him. I think he's already hit his floor. I think he's going to be one of those guys who was a great college player, and he's just going to kind of either fizzle out in the NFL or he's just going to be on 4 or 5 teams in 6 years.
Yeah, his ceiling is definitely capped compared to like these other guys. But I think his floor is really safe to where he's going to be around for 5, 6, 7 years. But I don't think he's going to be good doing that like a high elite level. Mm-hmm. But he's going to be on teams.
Yeah. All right.
There's a spot for him.
Landon Jackson, he's the only other one that we differed from, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In 16. Terms of, okay. Landon Jackson, Arkansas, 6'5", 6'6", 266, 9 7/8 inch hands, 33 3/4 inch arms, an 83 3/8 inch wingspan. He ran a 4.68 at the combine, 40.5 inch vertical jump, 10 foot 9 inch broad. Ran a 4.55 short shuttle, and a 7.13 3-cone at his pro day. So Landon Jackson is a pterodactyl. That is the first line I have in my report.
Where did you have him?
12. I have him at 12.
12. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Seriously though, Jackson plays strong hands, scary raw power. He's got this imposing size that makes him look like a WWE superstar. He carries his size and frame really well, and there's room for him to add on weight. He came in Ohio State. He came into Arkansas at 285, and he's down to 260. There's room for him to put on weight if they need him to. Like, I think he's a sound pass rusher. I think he's in the dirt lineman. I don't think he's a stand-up edge. I think he's hand in the ground, 4-3 end, 3-4 end. He's not going to win with speed or twitch or burst, which doesn't really match to his testing numbers because he ran well. He burst the burst drills, the speed drills, all that elusive stuff. He tested really well there. I just don't think that matched on tape. But he's going to beat you with strong hands. He's going to beat you with power. I think his game's going to transition really well as a run defender early on. And I think we're looking at a guy who's a plus-side starter once he's drafted probably mid to late second round.
Yes, he put on 40 pounds to go to Arkansas, and I just don't think he can carry that weight well. Like, you and I grew up big dudes, so we know how to move with our weight. And like he added this weight, and he was already
we're not
clunky.
6'6", brother.
No. I'm saying like he doesn't know how to use the weight at all, so he's just clunky as hell. And it's not. I've never seen this guy make a natural movement a day in his life. It's just not there.
He does move. That my first red mark for him is he moves like a robot.
Yeah, and his feet are heavy and clunky and weird, and his arm movement is insane. I don't know what this like watching him spikes my anxiety so bad. Like it's insane. But he's a high energy, high traits kind of guy. He's added a lot of weight over the last 2 seasons, and I don't think he knows how to move with it. Very weird movements, lacks any real body control, lacks any ideal bend, and he doesn't have the ability to anchor, I don't think. Nothing looks natural or easy for this dude. But he's got really aggressive hands, really good length, and he's always fighting during plays. I love the way he plays. I just hate watching it.
Yeah.
If I could just someone describe to me how he plays, I'd be like, oh, this guy's great. But then I watch him and I'm like, this guy's never played football a day in his life. What is he doing out here? It's so weird and clunky, and I literally have ugly as one of the descriptions. Like, I've never seen such an ugly football player, dude. He's so weird, dude. Yeah, he's such a weird watch.
I do see the body, the robotic movements, and he doesn't look like an athlete either. He like I said, he lacked acceleration off the line, which doesn't match that 40. His body control is below average, and same with his change of direction. He also had 2 season-ending injuries back in high school. He tore his ACL in 2018, broke his ankle in 2020, and then he re-tore his ACL when he was originally at LSU. So, his injury. He also suffered a neck injury his final game at Arkansas and was carted off the field, but it was precautionary. Crazy. He was okay. But I love his effort. I love his motor. I think he's got good backfield vision. I think he's a really good run defender. He's also really good at retracing the quarterback if they escape the pocket. He keeps his eyes moving, and his hands, eyes, and feet all move together, even though he moves like a robot. But
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like somebody is remote controlling him, and he's running. And
it looks like 4 different people are remote controlling him, and they all control different limbs. He literally looks like he's a puppet. Like there's 8 different men above him controlling him with strings and puppeteers, and it's so weird, dude. But I have him at 16. I think he could develop nicely into a designated pass rush guy. I don't know if he's going to be a 3-down kind of defensive end, but I do like his motor and I like his aggressive hands. But my God, just make a natural movement, please. Like make it look effortless. I don't know if you remember this. It was his freshman year when he first got recruited. This video of him with the bags came around where he was like swiping them down, and it just looked god awful. So I don't know if I'm like stuck with this video from 4 years ago. I'll send it to you. Okay. This video is so old, and I didn't even realize it was Landon Jackson until I started scouting him 2 years ago. I'm like, this guy looks really familiar, and he was this dude from the joke video of everyone making fun of him, and it's because of his movements. He's so weird and clunky. We'll see if it translates, dude. He weirds me out.
Yeah, he's a good interview too. I listened to a couple radio shots with him, and I just like the way he's really humble. Like he understands, like what he needs. Like he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy with the being 285 at Arkansas, and it sent him into this mode where he's just like, maybe I'm not going to be good at football, and he lost the weight, and now we're looking at him as a top 60, top 50 player potentially. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if the Packers take him around 1. Just real sneaky. If he sneaks into the first round, I think it's at Green Bay at 23. He's their type of edge player. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if it does, you heard it here first.
I'll be laughing. I can tell you that much.
But no, I like his upside, but I'm still actually lower than consensus. He is in the majority of people's top 10s. So
he's borderline.
Yeah. All right, so we got Ashton Gelati. You have him at 13?
Yep, 13.
Okay. I have him at 15. 6'2", 264, 9-inch hands, 31 and 7/8-inch arms, 78 and 1/4 wingspan. Ran a 4.65, 40 at his pro day, 159, 10-yard split. He did a 4.35 short shuttle and a 6.94 3-cone and 24 bench press reps. So Ashton Gelati, Louisville, he's going to win teams and coaches over with his motor and his ability to just always be where the play's happening. He's not the most athletic player. He's not the most imposing player, but he plays physical. He plays strong. He's incredibly persistent. He's the type of piece that you want in your defensive line edge room as a rotational piece. He's got a good floor as a starter, in my eyes. He's a reliable option no matter where you need him. His base is inconsistent, and stronger tackles are going to give him fits, but he's got great burst, good power to hold his own on the line. I ended up really liking it. I didn't think I was going to, because looking at his measurables, 6'2", 264, he's already looking small, but he plays with his hair on fire. He's got this burst and physicality. He finished 5th in school history in tackles for loss and 6th in sacks. He squeezes through the gaps really well as an inside rusher, despite the size. He also was impressive as a power rusher as well. He's good as a bull rusher, high motor, high effort. I think he's got a really good floor. I would take him beginning of the 3rd round. I maybe end of the 2nd, but I'm more comfortable. Most places I see him go in 4th round, so I'm cool with him in the 3rd, taking him where I would take, Olu Oladejo, depending on what I was looking for my edge room. If I wanted a more refined guy, I'm going to go with Gelati.
Yeah, no, I would take Gelati over Oli for sure. I would take him in the back end of the 2nd. I would have no gripes with that. Super productive college career, played a lot of games, and it shows. He's always in the right spot. Very good at football IQ. Dude's always in and around the pocket. Very disruptive. I love his bull rush for a smaller guy. It's really good. But he he's not crazy explosive, but he has enough explosion to get through the guard as well. So he can split the B gap really well, which you brought up.
His
He
initial
does,
burst is really good.
for sure. His first step's quick. His second and third aren't as quick, but his get off is really good. He does have the power to move guys, which is really nice. He could put his hand in the dirt or play standing in a 3-4 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Very violent hands. Hard to knock around. He also has really good pad heights. I've noticed a lot of guys, the developmental guys in this draft class, they're always playing high. This guy's pads are never out of place. His pads are always great.
I think being 6'2" helps because a lot of guys are
6'4",
a little
6'6".
bigger, 6'4",
yeah,
6'5",
for sure.
Whereas he's a little smaller, compact frame.
Very true.
I am a little worried about the production decline this year. Like I wish he came out last year when he had 11 sacks in a weaker class, and now his play went down. He had 4.5 sacks, which is a career low this year for Louisville, and now he's coming out. And I think it's knocked him down a little bit. His pass rush repertoire is a little limited just to strength and power.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's due to the athleticism. You're not really going to see him do a bunch of spin moves and chops. But he's not twitchy or the best athlete. But I do like his burst off the line. I love his motor as well. I've noticed a lot of the guys in this class are real high motor, high energy players.
A lot of them. Yep, for sure.
I like Ashton Gelati a little bit higher than
the table.
Yeah, most people do.
For sure. I did notice he does have the speed to beat guards, which you brought up, but I don't know if his speed's going to be consistent enough to beat tackles at the next level, which might be a bit of an issue. Like you said, he needs to develop a deeper bag as well.
Yeah, he can get inside he does have flaws. Tackle, though. He's not going to be a guy who's going to bend the edge.
He can split the B gap very well, yes.
Yeah. All right, Princely Umanmielen, Ole Miss, formerly of Florida. You have him at 11?
11.
Okay, I had him at 13. Princely Umanmielen begins the run of like round 3 guys in my eyes. His style of play lends him to be very productive, designated pass rusher at the NFL level, just right off the bat. He doesn't win with power, but if you just let this dude pin his ears back and go, he bends the edge really well. He has the tools to be a double-digit sack specialist at the night. Like I honestly believe he's just scratching the surface as well as a pass rusher. Like I think he could continue to develop, but I think from right now, he provides minimal upside in the run game and run defense and as a power rusher. But if you just bring him in, sort of like the Vikings did with Danielle Hunter early on in his career and just let him rush the passer, I think we're looking at a guy who could get 10 sacks as a rookie, and that be his only production that he provides right off the bat.
I look at him a lot like Alex Hunt last year, the guy that fell to Philly in the second round.
Yeah.
And they just brought him in as a designated pass rusher, and it showed throughout the playoffs. He was constantly making huge plays for a really good team that only asked him to do one thing. Hey, when you're on the field, go sack the quarterback. That's your job, and that's all I need you to worry about. If a team like Detroit, Washington, Philly, one of those, Kansas City, a top-end level team, just drafts this guy and allows him to be like, hey, you're only going to play like 30, 40% of snaps. But when you're on the field, pin your ears back and rush the quarterback, dude. And that's where Princely can shine, dude. I would love to see that happen. Yeah. He plays with so much finesse from the edge, dude. It's crazy. He's flashy.
Yeah, insanely productive. He's led his team in sacks the last 3 years. He had 10.5 this past season with Ole Miss, which are the second most in Ole Miss history. Good closing speed. He plays with the right kind of urgency. Like he's got second, third effort plays when it comes to rushing the passer. He even did some coverage stuff in Florida. Florida dropped him back a little bit.
Yeah, he can drop back.
Yeah, Ole Miss didn't really do that with him, but he needs to develop his hands a little more. Both is a pass rusher and run defender. They're average at best. Long strider, which does hurt his twitch a little bit, and he needs to be a little bit more physical at the attack against the run.
For sure.
But, sans the bull rush. Like, he's not going to force you to, collapse the pocket with power. But he bends the edge, maybe one of the 3 best in the class at bending that edge and getting around the tackle on the outside.
His hips. But his hips are always loose.
Yeah,
he knows how
loose,
to move.
They're oiled. Yep. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
DPR right off the bat, and I think there is room for him to develop.
Yep.
I don't know if he will in terms of a run defender, but at worst, like, you're looking at a guy, like I said, who can get double-digit sacks every year, and that just be his job.
Yep. Yeah, there's a high market for guys like this, for really good teams that are they're winning late in games. So these guys' jobs are to go out there and close games. It's what the Colts did for years with Dwight Freeney and Matthews.
Robert
I'm blanking on
Mathis.
his name. Robert Mathis. Those two guys were designed for the Colts to go win the game
Mm-hmm.
when Peyton had the lead. And I think Princely can bring that to a team, dude. It would not surprise me if he right off the bat was a 10 sack kind of guy his rookie year, given the right opportunity, dude. But like you said, he's all flash. He does need to get more physical. I'd love to see that. He's not going to be a 3-down kind of guy right off the bat, but I think it could develop, giving the right coaching system, the right staff, right guys around him. I think he could end up being a 3-down kind of guy, dude. He brings a lot to the table.
Yeah, watch this dude fall to Baltimore in round 2.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
And then he's just
crazy.
He's the exact type of edge rusher they need. Their edge guys aren't sack generators. They're
quick and flashy. Yep.
Yep.
They're
He'd
big
be perfect
bodies.
there in Baltimore.
Dirt in the hand. Yep.
All right. Josiah Stewart. I believe he's the only one we haven't talked about. You have him at
15.
15? Okay, so
15.
we did. Yeah, so we did all my guys in. Yeah. No, we didn't do Braden Swinson. Do you have him in your top 10?
I do.
Okay, so I have Josiah Stewart in my top 10. I have Swinson at 11. Where do you have Swinson?
I have him at 10.
Okay, so cool. We'll do both those guys. We'll start with Josiah Stewart from Michigan. You have him at 15. I have him at 10. 6'1", 249, 9.5-inch hands, 31 7/8-inch arms, 79-inch wingspan. Is he your prototypical size for an edge rusher? No. But you're not going to find a ton of guys who play with more fire than Josiah Stewart. He plays with this chip on his shoulder. His hand usage is really good. He generates all sorts of hand moves, slap, rip, dip, club, all that stuff. I think he is a DPR right off the bat. But he's strong against the run despite his size. I think you're looking at a guy who can be a 3-down edge rusher. Like he's similar to Mike Green in my eyes, where they're a little smaller, not your prototypical size, but they do a lot of things really well. And I think if a team misses on Mike Green in the first round, I think Josiah Stewart, I would pick him in the second. I'm higher on him than you, but he's probably going to go third round because he's a little smaller. But like the only thing holding him back is his size, power profile. But I think Michigan is giving us a good prospect, and I think he's going to be outplaying his draft position if he ends up falling to the third round. I like how explosive he is out of blocks. He has natural leverage, being 6 foot, highly productive. He is the only FBS player in this draft class with 30 career sacks. His play strength is better than his size. Good get off on the line. He's relentless. Hand usage is one of the best in the class. I get it. He has a light frame, below average height. He's not gonna be able to put on more weight. Power blockers are obviously going to slow him down. His anchor's a little shaky, and then short arms limit him with bigger offensive tackles. But I just couldn't quit this guy.
I get it. I do. I get it. I see the appeal. He can also kick back in the coverage. He can play zone really well. He's probably the best end in this class that can just really drop back and watch the field, watch it with his eyes. He's got really good instincts. Great productivity over 2 schools, Coastal Carolina and Michigan. He's a straight line rusher that plays hard and loves contact. This guy loves to get hit, dude. And he loves to hit people, dude. Like he'll go out of his way to hit people. I do love that. Lost my place of thought here. Here we go. Gets off the line really well and nice around the corner. Turns his speed into power very smoothly. Long strides to cover a lot of ground. Plays with the right leverage to get under guys. And then, like I said, he can kick back in the zone coverage, and he's really good at it. I found his straight line rush to be predictable over time. I think he needs to develop more ways to win. Average instincts, play recognition, but his burst and range can really make up for that. I did find he gets knocked around a lot, but he loves to play hard, so it makes up for that. If you're playing with that much aggression, it's kind of hard to keep your base because you are just
Mhm.
flying around hitting people. I did find that he ducks his head too much, which scares me. I do not lean head first into guys. That's dangerous for you, especially at the next level. You're flying around and how fast this guy moves. If you're leading with your head, you
Mhm.
can get really fucked up, dude, and that really does scare me. And like you said, below average size. He's good. He is good. Don't get me wrong. He was a guy that I moved up a little bit. I had him way lower. I'll admit I was wrong. I had him like 18. And I was like, I got to get this guy in my top 15. So I just threw him into 15. But I do think he's a guy that I could fluctuate and come even our top 100, have him a little bit higher.
Mhm.
He's really good. His productivity. And like, come on, like Coastal Carolina, we have a dynasty in NCAA on the inside. That's my team, dude. So I love to see guys seceding from Coastal Carolina and to show that you can go to Michigan, which is one of the top
Mhm.
5 schools in the country, and still produce the way you were at Coastal Carolina. You're
Yeah.
a dog, man, and you belong to play with the big boys. It would not surprise me if he goes round 2. I would be fine with that. I think he's going to go round 3 to do his size.
Mhm.
But hey, man, he can ball with the best of them for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. He's just one of those dudes. Him and Mike Green were just two guys I could just watch their tape. They were two of my favorite tape studies this
Mike
year.
Green is Mike Green is so good, dude.
Couch scout or prospect spotlight guy, Mike Green. You
Shout
brought him
him
to
out.
the table, and you were unsure about him as a first round guy. I never wavered. I was like,
Yeah,
Mike
for
Green is a
sure.
first round dude off the bat.
I
And
didn't
he's
think
just
people would see him the way
continued to
we
go
did,
up.
dude. Like, I didn't think people would see him that way. I'm like, he's a guy that went to a lower level school. I don't think people
Yeah.
are gonna really
Yeah.
care about it, especially in like this deep class. I'm so glad that Mike Green's getting the shout out he loves. He's easily gonna go top 15, top 20.
Yeah.
He's a dog, baby. We'll get to him.
All right. Braden Swinson, LSU. Didn't do the pro day, so combine stuff 6'3", 255, 9 7/8 inch hands, 33 3/8 inch arms, 81 1/4 wingspan, 4'3" short shuttle, 7'1" cone. So Braden Swinson is a green prospect, still pretty raw, and I think he's really only a 3-4 player. I don't see him as a hand in the dirt type edge rusher. So I think he's out on a 4-3 down lineman. So I think he's just a 3-4 stand up guy. Nonstop motor, passion for the game.
I think he could get his hand in the dirt and play 4-3. I think he's athletic enough.
He plays hard. Pass rush techniques are pretty good despite how green he is. Again, he's one of these guys, like this clump of guys, they're designated pass rushers early on.
Yeah.
But I think the tools are there for him to develop into a 3-down player. He's been a high riser of late in terms of consensus, but I do see the path where he's potentially a top 50 guy. One of my favorite little tidbits about him was he just carries a football wherever he goes because he likes to keep his dreams close. So get this dude in a room with Jameis Winston and just let him pick each other's brain on dreams.
Hey, I know where Jameis is playing for the next 2 years, so I would love if Brandon Swinton would join him in New York.
But yeah, his motor stays gassed up. You know, he gets that cleanup production. His hands and arms get extended as a run defender. He's got enough strength to consistently take on blocks from tight ends. Decent pass rush maneuvers. Rushes with a first step burst. Good arc acceleration. Lighter than ideal. He does struggle to anchor against more power tackles. Only one season of starting experience. Before that, he's had 2 starts in the last 4 years. And it does show at times. He's another guy, though. You brought up with Josiah Winston ducking his head. Braden Swinson, another guy, he leans with his head.
Yeah, for sure.
High cut, plays upright. It hasn't created a cohesive outside rush attack yet, but I think there's I'm betting more on him as this raw upside guy than Femi Oladejo, who I think could also do. I think he's a little more refined. Swinson is. That's why I have him at 11.
Yeah, I have him 10, right inside my top 10. Really good NFL frame, huge hands, long arms, really good first punch, and has the ability to extend his arms quick like a shotgun. So he gets the guys fast and he just pushes them. He moves guys back really fast. A real dog at the point of contact. Really clean and smooth footwork. Really good at reading plays and making the right adjustments. Uses every bit of his size and length to make plays. Really active and fast hands. A really good stutter step, which I found, and he kept offensive guys whiffing on tackles. Like he would just do this weird like double take, and guys would just break the wrong way, and he would just slide right past them. But he does struggle side to side, needs to develop a bigger bag of moves. Dips his head way too low. I don't like it. Got to be able to see it. Got to use his instincts a little bit better. He needs to believe in himself. And I found that if he was going up against bigger guys, the dude was gassed late in games. He needs to work on his stamina. He's way too fatigued to be going this many downs. So yeah, designated pass rush at first. Work on that stamina. Work on that run game, and just let him go for a big guy. I really like Brenton Swinson.
Yeah. I like him. Not as much as consensus. He's a guy who's been, like I said, rising. I've been hearing some first round buzz for him as well.
I don't think it's gonna happen. Second round.
Me either. Edge is too deep. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if, like, some of these other guys who are in our top 10s fall into the second round. But I see the upside. I see the ceiling for him. I think I understand the rise here of late for him, and I'm cool with him going in the top 50.
Yeah, for sure. He's a really good football player at the end of the day, dude. Top 50 for sure. I wouldn't bat an eye. I don't think he's gonna go fall into the first. That's too rich for my liking. But I would say there's like 7 or 8 guys that I think could go in the first round right here. So we're definitely approaching the territory of first round guys.
Yep. All right. Before we dive into the rest of our top 10, let's shout out our friends over at W Energy. W, they use a coffee fruit cherry extract for their caffeine. It's natural, no flawed ingredients. They don't have artificial flavors, artificial dyes, none of that stuff. It's a full ingredient disclosure. No calories, no sugar, all that good stuff. They got a ton of flavors. I'm currently drinking some Dub Sludge right now. It's one of their first flavors. It's a apple with a mystery sauce, but check out that. They also have hydration stuff if caffeine is not your thing. It's clean energy. It's jitterless energy. It's not gonna, send you crashing down when it hurts inside. But W Energy, be better. Get that dub with W Energy. They got a mobile app. Search W on your Play Store, your Apple App Store. It's there. Or you can go to their site, W, that's DUBBY.GG. And of course, use the discount code DRAFTEDUP for a nice 10% discount on your order. Eat that dub with W Energy.
Hell yeah. Great sponsor. Love the people at W.
All right.
Top
so your
10s,
10 was
baby.
Braden. What's that?
Top 10s, baby.
Yeah. So you had Braden Swinson at 10.
Yeah.
So who's the rest of go up to 6?
Go up to 6. 9, JT Tuimalau from Ohio State. 8, Mikael Williams from Georgia. 7, James Pierce from Tennessee. 6, Nick Scorton, Texas A&M.
Wow. I was so confident that I was going to be the high
Texas
man
A&M guys
on Nick Scorton. But you
have
haven't ranked. You haven't ranked higher than I do.
Oh, nice. Okay.
He doesn't
I think there's a chance he could be higher than this. I love Nick Scorton, dude.
So as mentioned, Josiah Stewart from Michigan was my 10. JT Tuimalau from Ohio State, I had at 9. James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee at 8. Nick Scorton from Texas A&M at 7. And Mikael Williams from Georgia at 6.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised you got him at 6. I thought you'd have him. I thought I had him a little bit low at 8. But I'm cool with that.
Oh, I didn't even hear you say him. I'm the high man on Mikael Williams?
I have Mikael Williams at 8.
What a world. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
This is...
Let's get right into him, dude. Let's skip JTT and go into Mikael because he's more interesting.
Yeah, Mikael Williams, Georgia. 6'5", 267, 10 and 1/4 inch hands, 34 3/8 inch arms, 82 5/8 inch wingspan. He ran a 4.77 at his pro day, 161 10-yard split. So I was unsure how I was going to feel about Mikael Williams. You know,
let's hear it. I'm in like, dude. I was like, I'm gonna have him way higher than TJ does.
So I'm watching him, and I'm just like, I watched him right after I watched Shamar Stewart, and I'm like, I like Shamar Stewart, but if I like Shamar Stewart, I should like Mikael Williams. They're to me the same player. Like, both guys similar. Williams, traits edge, who looks the part. He passes the vibe check. Fluid mover with adequate burst, excellent body control. He's a menace in the run game. And I think at worst, he's a plus side run defender at the next level. He could play standing up. You could put him in the dirt. He brings you some versatility. So for those defenses that bounce around play style, I think he's a perfect fit. He does need to work on his hand technique as it's pretty subpar, but he's a power machine who makes plays behind the line of scrimmage, and I think well worth this hype that he's been getting. Like, I'm still not top 10 hype. I'm not there, but
No.
13 to 20, that's the sweet spot, I think, for Mykel Williams.
I would say, yeah, around 13 his window opens up, and I would say it ends around Green Bay at like 23, 25. We have the same window for him, for sure.
But if San Francisco would take him at 11,
I wouldn't bat an eye at it.
I would get it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys in this draft that I really want San Fran to look at. He's one of them. Will Johnson, the corner from Michigan's another one. Shamar Stewart, Walter Nolan. These are guys that I would love for San Fran to look at.
I love the idea of San Francisco, as we get off topic here. If Jacksonville, say they don't take Mason Graham at 5, I love the idea of them trading up to 6 at Vegas.
For sure.
And getting Mason Graham. But Mykel Williams, he looks the part. He's got the frame.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's got anaconda length inch arms.
Anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hon.
Yeah. Surprisingly fluid, good body control. He hits the gap really well. More than 30% of his tackles resulted in a loss.
Yeah.
Like, he's strong and physical against the run. He gains control at the point of attack. Like, impressive movement skills, athleticism to grow as a pass rusher is there. He's really light on his feet for a big dude. Like, the more I talk about Mykel Williams, the more I'm just like, I think I should put him higher than 6.
You gotta move him up.
I am in deep with Mykel Williams. Like, I'm in my feels right now. But he does have a lot of wasted movement with his hands, and it ends up just reverting back to strength. We brought it with, like, Omar Norman Lott and James Pierce. They didn't play a ton. They ran a big rotation. Same with Georgia. Mykel only played 33.5% of the snaps this year. The injury, he missed 2 games because of this ankle injury, missed part of 2023 because of another foot injury. His burst and explosiveness is fine, but he doesn't have that elite pop that kind of just gets him to the next level. And he doesn't have a true win move as a pass rusher. He's pretty much just a power guy, but yeah, I get it.
But he translates his speed to power really well.
He does.
Him and Stewart are very similar. I'm a little bit higher on Stewart. I have Stewart in my top 5.
Stewart's in my top 5 as well.
Yeah, but he's a true developmental prospect, would benefit and needs more time to develop all of his skills. Didn't get a lot of snaps at Georgia due to being behind high-level talent consistently, but he has a legit NFL frame, needs a little bit more mass to it, but he has crazy long arms, huge hands. He can keep guys at distance really well, has a really good first step, great athlete, and he keeps his burst through his second and third step, which I do love, so he's consistently fast, not just off the ball fast. He can cover a lot of ground in no time due to long strides. He's always making plays in the backfield, which you brought up, dude. Like, he's always around the ball carrier no matter what. Has a legitimate ball rush ability or pass rush ability. Can be a legitimate bull rush as well. He uses his power to speed the power so well. He can collapse a pocket in a heartbeat. His feet are always moving forward, dude. So, like, he has all of these traits to hit, but he needs to play a little bit looser. Hard time dipping low. His hips are what they need to be for a guy. He plays really tall, needs to drop the pad level. I'd love to see this guy get more physical. He has the body to do it. Just get in there, dude. But he needs to work on every one of his techniques. Needs to develop a bag of pass rushing ability. But he could be this guy. Like, if we're talking 4 years down the road and Shamar Stewart doesn't pan into anything, Mykel Williams easily can. It all just comes down to coaching and where you fall and what you get with, like, your traits and what you're willing to put in. And I think he's going to be able to put it in a lot, dude. He's really athletic. There's a reason he's in my top 10 as a developmental guy. He's got it in him for sure. Let's put it out of him.
Yeah. I was shocked I had him at 6.
I'm so shocked you have him higher than I do.
I was unsure.
I'm going to have him at I got him at 8. I'm like, TJ's going to have this guy at like 12 or 14 right out of his top 10. I'm like, I know TJ hates him. Pretty happy to hear you like him.
Yeah, no, big fan. All right. Let's talk about our Edge 9 consensus, both of us. Love when a plan comes together. JT Tui Maloau, Ohio State, 6'4", 265, 10.5-inch arms, or hands. I did it again.
Once an episode happens every time.
Yep. 34, 7/8-inch arms, 81.5-inch wingspan. At his pro day, he had a 35.5-inch vertical, 9-foot, 11-inch broad jump, 437 short shuttle, and 24 bench press reps. I opposite ends of the spectrum with him and Jack Sawyer. Jack Sawyer, I just don't see it. I see it.
They're both really good
JT
floor guys. I
Tuimoloau.
just think I think his floor is higher than blanking on his name.
Jack Sawyer.
Jack Sawyer. Yes, I was gonna say Swinton. They're both really good floor guys, but JTG's floor is a little bit above his. So I don't know.
Also think JTT has pass rush capability. If I was to place a bet on a guy who would just be in the league for 10 years and it just 6.5, 7 sacks every year, I think it's him.
He would be in the conversation, but I don't think he's going to get more than 6.5 sacks.
No, he's not. I think that's his seal, but I think that he's doing that every year. I think his play style has a long shelf life in terms of an NFL career.
Yes.
I think what he provides as a run defender and a power rusher ideal for a hand in the dirt 4-3 defensive end. He's got a good floor as a prospect, and I think in round 2, there's not much more you can ask for. He's got the ability to push the pocket, but if he doesn't win with power, chances are he loses the pass rush rep in general. He's got excellent instincts, good play recognition, good in open space. He's not going to be this big boom 10-plus sack guy, but he brings stability to a defensive line and likely 6 to 8 sacks per season. And that's what you want as he's Sam Hubbard.
Yeah, he's just a really safe floor guy.
The Bengals should be drafting this guy in round 2 to pair with Trey Hendrickson.
I mean, the Bengals need to draft every single defensive. Yeah. All of their picks need to be defense, dude. I will be furious if Cincinnati walks out with offensive guys in this draft.
They need a guard.
It's not needed.
They need a guard. They need a starting guard.
They're not going to get that. Don't go guard at round 1, and then round 2 at that point, you're already off the table for guards. So they need to go defense, dude.
They could take Marcus Bowe in the second round.
They could, but I think you literally need help at every single defensive spot in this draft, dude.
Yeah.
They need edge, they need linebackers, they need secondary. They just need bodies on the defense.
I think they need to draft a guard in their first 3 picks, but we'll get to that when we do the mock draft. But JT Tuimoloau, strong closing quickness when he has a lane to the quarterback. He saw more double teams than anyone in Ohio State, and that was a really talented defensive line. Jack Sawyer was there, Tyleik Williams, who I love, and then JT Tuimoloau. He's a good mover in space. I thought he was pretty good at redirecting in the run game. He plays with good coordination between his hands and his feet. They always match up. Desired size, functional strength, play in the dirt, good run defender, instincts, play recognition. His pass rush momentum, not great once his initial move is stopped. Doesn't have great bend and balance to turn the corner. He does stumble and fall when beating tackles around the edge. Not really his game. He doesn't really have that first step, pop, and explosion. And then he's got a pretty basic rush plan. And it revolves exclusively around power. But I think he's the best floor guy of these non-explosive players.
Yeah, there's no developmenting he's not a developmental guy. There's no if he gets more reps or that or this. You know what you're getting with JTT, and you're just getting a really good size and length, a guy that plays with power and force. Isn't going to be an elite pass rusher at the next level, but his ability to disrupt the pocket is still really good at this point. And what he brings to the run game is why I think he's going to be in the league for a lot. He has the ability to anchor, set the edge. He's really quick to shed blocks as well. He plays hard the whole game. But he has average burst and speed of the athleticism. So that's going to hold him back. can use more tricks around the line, isn't fancy whatsoever, average
Mhm.
bend, doesn't move side to side very well. So he's not a guy that you're going to be blown away with, like you said, but he's going to be a guy that can just sit on a defensive line, stop the run whenever you ask him to. He's so consistent with that. And I look at his sack range from like 5 to 7. I don't think he's going to get much more than that. But he's a guy that can really disrupt pockets. He's going to be a guy that's making more plays that aren't shown on the stat sheet than some of these other guys. Like some of these guys are stat sheet stuffers. JTT is not that. He's a guy that's going to make more impact plays around the game that don't show up when you're looking at stat sheets.
He's the perfect pair with the explosive pass rusher.
Yeah.
Which is why I think him in Cincinnati in round 2 is a good match with Trey Hendrickson, assuming that guy's still there. But
yeah, which would be a huge loss for a team that already doesn't have defense.
Yeah. So James Pierce Jr. I had him at 8. You have him at 7. All right. Tennessee edge rusher, 6'5", 248, 9 3/4 inch hands, 33-inch arms, 81-inch wingspan. Ran a 4.47 40. 1.56 10-yard split, 31-inch vertical, 10-foot 3-inch broad jump. There's no denying that JPJ, James Pierce Jr., possesses an incredible amount of talent. He does a great job of blending explosiveness and power. He has the tools to improve as a run defender. The problem for me is all between the ears. I think he's this prospect who has the most to gain or lose from the interview process. Reports of character concerns have already come out, and then there was him forgetting his workout attire at the combine, and it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But if a team is willing to take the shot, it could pay off tenfold, and he could end up being the best pass rusher in this class. If he slips out of round 1, I think chances are those concerns are a little more prevalent than we expect. But tall, athletic, long arms, explosive first step. He wins with turning speed to power really well. Elite burst off the line, which shows in his testing. He creates space. He uses his length to separate and get around blocks. Like, the tools are there for him to be a superstar. Yeah. His run defense, not great. Pad level's a little inconsistent. It does get him in trouble at times. He struggles to break down. He misses tackles and sacks against athletic quarterbacks. Misses plays in the backfield as well because he's a little out of control. If you get your hand in his chest, you kind of knock him off base. You know, a good strong punching offensive tackles, keeping this guy on the other side of the field. But needs to add a little more mass, play strength to transition, but the tools are there for him to be really good. I just worry about, does he want to be a football player? I saw a quote from a scout in the Beast that said, "I want to be convinced that this guy loves football."
Yeah, it's rough, dude, but you have to look at his ability and just believe in that. And at the end of the day, we have him top 10 for a reason. Yeah. Like, just let the man be a pass rusher. Don't worry about anything else. He's got the top tier get off the line, so explosive. Even after the first step, he's still moving at a crazy high speed. Has a nice slap punch combo to win blocks. Really good length to keep guys off the edge. But he does lack the deep bend to give him the elite mobility around the edge. I found that he can't get low enough. But yeah, dude, his burst is crazy to cover a lot of space because of how fast he is. Plays with a nice twitch. And has the length and the rush ability that you love to see. Do like every single trait this guy has, it's going to succeed at the next level if he wants it to. And that's what it comes down to. I had him a little bit higher throughout the process. I did drop him down to 7 now, but at the end of the day, 7 in a stacked class is still really high. And that shows what kind of traits he has, even if he's not carrying every single play. But if you end up cracking the code to get this guy more invested, like you said, you could possibly get the best pass rusher in this draft, probably at the back end of the first round, to be honest.
Yeah, I think what's best
needs
for
to bulk
him
up a little bit. I would like to see him a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and he has the frame to add some more mass.
A couple,
to him.
10, 15 pounds.
But I think that is what's best for him is to fall, because then he's going to a good team where the culture's probably already set. I think him in Detroit would be great. Detroit set their culture. They don't need any culture changers anymore. They have the guys to keep him in line. Philadelphia. Washington with Dan Quinn, Harbaugh in Baltimore, even
Yep.
Harbaugh in Los Angeles, Sean McVay in LA. Like, I think these
Mm-hmm.
are prime spots for him where it's going to be best for him to succeed because the culture's set there. They stand there and like, hey, this is how things are going to be. You're going to fall in line or you're going to fall out of place.
Yep. Yeah, to where a team like, not to throw out Cincinnati with any strays, but Jermaine Burton last year did not work out in Cincinnati because they didn't have the culture or the coaching staff to keep that kid's head in the game, and it showed consistently throughout the season that he just didn't want to. He just didn't care. He didn't want to be there. He's constantly late. Then Miami, you don't want him in a team like that. Like, you need a guy that's going to be able, a coach to keep this guy grounded, and all of those elite teams have those kind of coaches, and even other players like Washington has Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner would make sure this guy's doing everything that needs to be done at the next level. Detroit has multiple guys like that. Philadelphia has so many guys to keep him in line. So at the end of the day, I agree. Him falling is way best for him.
Philadelphia's shown with Jalen Carter, who had some issues coming in,
Yep.
and they took the shot at him. He fell far enough where there's like, hey, we got to take this guy. And it's paid dividends. Jalen Carter has been out of trouble, no issues, and he's been an elite level football player for Philadelphia.
Yep. There hasn't been an issue with him since he's been drafted. That was all college stuff. He turned it around, and I would credit a lot of that to the culture in Philadelphia.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about your guy, Nick Scorton.
Texas A&M. Big dog.
Prior to the episode, I would have put money that I had Scorton higher and you would have had Mykel Williams higher. I would have lost money.
For sure.
Because
it happens.
So I had Nick Scorton at 7. You had him at 6.
Yeah.
Texas A&M, formerly Purdue, 6'2", 257, 9 7/8 inch hands, 33 1/4 inch arms, 80.5 inch wingspan. Didn't do any of the other testings. In my eyes, Scorton has become one of the more underappreciated guys in this class. I know this season at Texas A&M wasn't up to par with what he did at Purdue, but I lean more into it being Texas A&M than it being a Nick Scorton issue. Like, there's production questions about other current and one former Texas A&M player in this class. Shamar Stewart, we have production questions. Shamar Turner, we have production questions. Walter Nolan, production questions. Nick Scorton's production at Texas A&M, in question. He put on weight while he was there, and I think it really affected the way he plays. But he's back down to the weight he was when he was at Purdue, and I think he's more that player. And if that's the case, I think he's going to be a great value because I don't see a lot of first-round hype for him. I think he's a first-round guy. Back into the first, I think that is a great landing spot for Nick Scorton. I think he'd be a steal if he falls out of the first into the second round. He's lacking top-end athleticism. He wins more on effort and strong hands and an aggressive motor, but his skill set is NFL ready. And I think he could be a day one starter right off the bat.
Yeah, dude. His productivity at Purdue was crazy, dude. 10 sacks when he was like 18 or 19 years old. This kid is young. He's going to be 20 when he's drafted.
He won't be 21 until August.
Young, dude. Yeah. So that is unbelievable, dude. So like, I get he had a dip in numbers at Texas A&M. But like you said, dude, everyone in this draft class that has played at Texas A&M has production issues. So it literally has to be a system thing. There's no way that all of this talent has production issues when it's 3 or 4 guys and a Walter Nolan transfers out and puts up production. So it's possible. Best numbers,
yep.
Exactly. So, but what you're getting, dude, he's what's up?
Texas A&M was playing him inside too as an interior
they
defensive line.
All of their guys around.
It made no sense because just let Nick Scorton rush the passer.
Yeah, but he's got really good power and anger when attacking blockers. Can play around the tackle or slip through the B gap as well. Really good change of direction. Keeps guys on their toes. You love to see it. Always forcing the offense to send more blockers this way. He was constantly eating double teams, dude. Like, the O-line would be forced to move in guys. The running back would chip in. The tight end would chip in. He eats up blocks, and that opens up so much room for other people.
He also attracts so many holding calls. I noticed while watching, like, there were flags all the time with him. And, like, sure, his production was down at Texas A&M this year, but he led that team in sacks. So that is leading an
Yep.
SEC team in sacks. The year before, he led a Big Ten team in sacks, and those are the two big power conferences, and
Yeah.
he was the most sack-produced player on those teams.
And that's being 19 and 20 years old.
Yeah.
Not even legally able to drink in the United States, dude. It is insane the production he's putting up at a really young age. The tempo he plays with is great, dude. And he keeps the same tempo every single play until the end of the game. He doesn't get worn down. Tremendously deep bag of tricks and counters. Legit NFL size, rush ability, and high energy will keep him on the field for every single play. He's just it, dude. I love what Nick Scorton brings to the table.
Yeah, he's got a nasty
he's
spin
one
move.
of those guys.
Maybe the
dude,
best spin move
great.
in the draft class.
For sure.
His change of direction is really good. He's got good block recognition against the run, and he's always in a good position to take on blocks. Really physical, attacking hands. He doesn't have the first step, but he wins via secondary moves.
I would say his length is also a little bit of an issue.
Yeah,
he's got good size, but he doesn't have really good length.
He looks much better at Purdue than he did at Texas A&M. He needs to improve in consistency in terms of pass rush moves. They're all there, but they can be a little stagnant at times.
Not much of a bull rush ability.
But ball carriers in space, if they're athletic, they get them. They get them in a blender, and it leads to out of control, poor tackling attempts from him. But I
found that to be a consistent thing with Texas A&M guys. They're kind of wildly out of place when it comes to tackling. Yeah, for sure. Samar Stewart, especially.
Same way. Yep.
He's really bad at trying to line up a tackle.
But Scorchin, he was my seventh edge. You're sick. Yeah. I love him. I'm glad you liked him. I was worried. I was doing the Mike Cale Williams thing with you. I'm like, man, Nick is gonna hate Nick Scorchin.
Nah, dude, he's got it. I love Nick Scorchin.
All right, rock on.
Fuck yeah, dude.
All right, top 5.
Top 5. Want me to go?
Yeah.
All righty. Number 5, Donovan Ezeraku from Boston College. Number 4, Shamar Stewart, Texas A&M. Number 3, Jalen Walker, Georgia. 2, Mike Green from Marshall. And then 1, Abdul Carter from Penn State.
You gotta love when a plan comes together.
It's got the same top 5, baby
from
boy.
Boston College, Shamar Stewart, Texas A&M, Jalen Walker, Georgia, Mike Green, Marshall, Abdul Carter, Penn State. Same top 5. All right.
Hell yeah, dude.
That'll make this easy. We don't gotta bounce around. Let's talk Donnie Ezeraku from Boston
I wanted to like him
College.
more, dude. I think having him at 5 is a crime, and I'm not gonna lie about it. He's great. He's amazing.
He was almost 4 for me. I almost put him over Stewart.
I agree. I think putting him over Stewart, it seems right, just based off Stewart is just all potential and traits and whatnot. Donovan Ezeraku has showed that he is already what Stewart can be.
Yeah.
It does feel wrong to have him under Stewart, but I think what Stewart's ceiling is outlandishly high.
Sans Abdul Carter, Donovan Ezeraku might be the best floor edge player at the top here.
He's safe, dude. Yeah, no, I agree. Mike Green, dude. Mike Green's really safe.
Yeah, but I think there's a world where Mike Green, he's smaller, he's got shorter arms.
He's undersized, for sure.
Yeah. But Ezeraku, 6'2", 248, 9.5-inch hands. Did it again. 34-inch arms, 82 and 3/4 wingspan.
John Jones out there, baby.
Yeah. 35.5-inch vert, 9 foot, 11-inch broad, ran a 4.19 shuttle, 6'9", 4.3 cone, 22 bench press reps. That's impressive because he's got these long-ass arms. Long arm guys don't do the bench really well. So, Donovan Ezeraku's floor is a high-end designated pass rusher. His tape says he could be more than that, though, making him one of the better floor players at this position. He may be undersized a little bit, but he's got these freakishly long arms, and he's a plus-side athlete. He's got all the pass rushing tools minus a bull rush. He's got good hand usage, but he might have some of the best bend in this class. He's productive. He's a productive starter at the next level with high character, good football IQ. I think he's a 3-down player with room to grow as a pass rusher, which is scary because he's already really good. Bendy athlete, smooth hips, changes direction in space really well. He's got good bend to rush the corner. It looks easy and natural for him. Like nothing looks. He's the opposite of Landon Jackson.
Yes.
Everything looks
Yes.
easy when you're watching
Yep.
Donovan Ezeraku. He's really explosive laterally. He moves around roadblocks. He led the FBS in sacks per game this past year, and he won the Ted Hendricks Award, which is the nation's top defensive end. 2-year captain at Boston College. Really high character. They speak highly of him over there. Like really, like the only thing missing from his game is the power. He doesn't got that speed to power. He doesn't have real powerful hands. He's not going to be a bull rusher. His closing speed not as good as his initial speed, but I think this dude is a lock, stock, ready first round pick.
Yeah, is the really only. I'm just going to start with his negatives. That's where I'm going to start. He doesn't have elite closing burst or pursuit speed. Seldom chases guys down. He wins a lot of blocks and can do it quick, but he doesn't seem to stop because his bag isn't as deep as other guys in the class. So like, yeah, he doesn't have like tricks in the flash, but he wins constantly. It doesn't matter. He knows how to win, and he's so good at it, dude. Really nice length, long arms, keep guys at bay. Uses every bit of his length and athleticism to attack offensive linemen. Really quick off the snap. Really nice bend, which you said, great smooth hips, good change of direction. Quick to get past blockers, makes a lot of plays in the backfield, could possibly be a 3-4 outside linebacker. He has every single ability that Shamar Stewart has, and he has shown that he could develop to be a 10, 12, 14 kind of sack guy at the next level. And like you said, his floor is a designated pass rusher, but I think he's got the bags and the tricks and the power to be a 3-down defensive end at some point in his career. But if you just want to start him next season as a designated pass rusher, let him go after the quarterback, let him learn the ropes and the traits and just develop even more. Who knows where this guy's future could lead, dude? Yeah. He's easily one of the best guys in this class.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite guys to get to Tampa. If Jahad Campbell's not there, Jahad Campbell's usually like my just go to. I put him in at Tampa.
I think he's gonna fall a little bit.
But if he's not there, I think Ezeraku to Tampa is great. Let Todd Bowles just let this dude do his work. He's like a Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles will love him.
I think the injury to Campbell, I would just take Ezeraku. He's so safe at this point. Where
I don't know if Campbell's actually going to be there at 19 or wherever Tampa 18.
I think he's going to be.
I think Jahad Campbell's at 50. I think Atlanta is his floor.
I see. I see Atlanta trading back, and I think Campbell's going to fall due to his injury.
Yeah. See, I don't. I'm not concerned. I haven't heard a lot. I still see him going. I've seen him going top 10 recently. So like I've seen him rise.
See, I've heard a lot about his injury.
Yeah. Shamar Stewart, Texas A&M. 6'5", 270, 9.5 inch hands, 34 3/8 inch arms, 84 1/4 inch wingspan. Ran a 4.5 940 at the combine, 1.58 10-yard split, 40-inch vert, 10-foot 11-inch broad jump. He's truly the trust the traits player in the draft class. The traits are
what
insane.
Could possibly be.
Yeah. Like I brought up like with Mykal Williams, they're similar in terms of like you're trusting those traits, but like Mykal Williams, at least there's production on tape. He had 6.5 sacks in a season. But
Stewart hasn't had that in 2 seasons.
No, incredibly athletic, and it shows. You see the athlete on tape. Production, you don't see it all. He doesn't finish. He's got a higher missed tackle rate than you'd care to see. He's still pretty raw in terms of hand usage, as he just doesn't have the sort of hand skills both as a pass rusher and run defender. But man, you see the world where he is a much, much better pro football player than a college player. His ability to just send tackles back with his speed to power, it's a sight to see. He's really good at using his length to his advantage. He's already an NFL caliber run defender in my eyes. His range is really anywhere in the first round. Like he could go top 10. He can go 26. Yep. Everything's there. It's just a matter of putting it all together for him. He's truly the art of scouting where you're projecting him. If he does put it together, you're looking at an elite level prospect who maybe he is the best player in this deep edge class. Who knows? But maybe he's a guy who's phased out of the league in 4 years.
Yeah, he is truly 2 tails of what could possibly be. And where do you fall with Stewart? If someone had him ranked outside of their top 20, I honest to God would not question it. So it is what it is.
Top 20 edges or top 20 overall players in the draft?
No, outside of their top 20 edges.
Oh, I would question that. There's
I
too
would
much.
not. I
There's
was
too much
literally listening
upside
to.
for him to
I was
not.
listening to ESPN yesterday. Someone has him ranked as their 66th defensive end in this draft class.
That is.
And that's on ESPN, and I'm like, that's insane. That's a crazy take.
Whoa.
But it is what it is. He literally has no college production. So if you think that's him and it's not a system thing, he's just not going to translate to the next level and he's going to be phased out.
Yep.
So if you truly believe he's not going to be an NFL player, don't rank him that way. So I get it, but he is truly all traits of the what could possibly be. Amazing off the line, has every speed and length to keep guys guessing. There's not a thing athletically this guy cannot do. He is truly a gift. Has ability to move guys off the line, has the power to move guys back, has the speed to get through the A gap and the B gap. He's quick to close plays due to his burst. It's all about just putting it together, dude. He's had 1.5 sacks every year for the last 2 years. He's had 3 total sacks in the last 2 years. But he is he led the team in pressures. He's always in the backfield. He is a true pocket disruptor.
Just can't finish.
It sounds like a personal problem, brother.
Yeah.
So, but dude, if he's able to develop half of a bag of a pass rush and just hone in on these skills, but still use his athleticism, there are going to be seasons he has 15 sacks and he does it with ease. But there could be seasons where he has literally 4 sacks because he doesn't have the play recognition or the body control to finish plays. His tackling is outlandishly bad. Yeah. I've seen this guy whiff on so many tackles. If you ask him to make an open field tackle, it's just not going to happen. He doesn't have that ability yet.
He's still really young as well. He just turned 21 in November, so he won't turn 22 till about halfway through the NFL season.
Yep.
But I at worst, I like him as a run defender. Like I think he's an NFL ready run defender.
I agree.
I think he's good at constructing out of the blocks and make plays in the run game. And then he's just high ceiling developmental pass rusher. And I think he's it's there. You see it at times. His speed to power is so good. Like I didn't see a lot of guys in this class absolutely bully offensive linemen. He did.
Dude, he will bully the hell out of someone, and it's hilarious. Richie Incognito style.
Yeah, he's got the ability. He's really flexible to turn the corner and bend the edge as well for someone that big. His change of direction is really good. Like all the tools are there. It's really like he can't finish. The puzzling lack of production in his career. He plays high, obviously, but he's huge. So I expected that. His use in hands is bad. He's late. He's inaccurate with his hand movement. So he's really just a pure power rusher right now. And he does get off baseline and his tackling. It's not even worth talking about because it's hysterically bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
But yeah, see it. I see the world where I think we're living in it. I think we're living in the timeline where Shamar Stewart is a really good NFL football player.
I agree, dude. I think he has it. I did notice, and I will call him out on this, he looks completely lost 6 to 10 times a game where he truly doesn't even realize he's probably on a football field. He has no idea what he's doing out there. He's just standing there. He looks crazy out of position. But that just comes from being so raw, being so young. And I'm just going to keep hounding this, that these guys at Texas A&M are just in a horrendous system. I don't know what kind of defensive coordinator they have or what kind of system they're running, but all these guys are playing all 4 of the spots on their line. They're constantly moving. They have no time to just hone in on a single position and learn that skill, learn the traits, learn how to use your hands. If you're asking a guy to split through the A gap, the B gap, the C gap constantly, he can't really define his skills. Yeah, and it really shows with Stewart here. He's so raw. Just let him hone in on one spot and learn that trait and then ask him to do more. He's too young to be doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm in. I'm in on the ceiling.
I'm 100% in, dude.
Like, I would be fine if Carolina took him at 8. I'd rather them trade down and get him, but if they took him at 8, I'd get it. I like him at San
Mm-hmm.
Francisco at 11 as well. I I don't know if he falls that much further. I think Atlanta, if they stick and pick, I think that's his floor is 15. I've seen him going later in drafts.
I think he'd go later.
It could, yeah. But I think he will ultimately be a top 15 selection.
Yeah, his window is literally from 8 to 32.
If Al Davis was alive, the Raiders would be picking this dude at 6.
Picking him at 6, baby.
If Trent Baalke
CJ
was
Spiller
still
runs a 4.3 on water, dude.
If Trent Baalke was still running Jacksonville, he'd be going 5.
I mean, I think that's a chance why Jalen Walker could go 5, but new coaching or new GM regime in Jacksonville.
Yeah. Jalen Walker, though, he's next. He's our edge 3. 6'1", 243, 10 and 1/4 inch hands, 32 and 5/8 inch arms, 79 inch wingspan. He's interesting. He's an interesting cat. I was locked in that he was an edge rusher, and then I watched him, and I'm just like, maybe he's an outside linebacker.
He is an outside linebacker.
But when I watch him as a linebacker, I'm like, I think this guy's an edge rusher. Like, I can never... Like, I think we should have just done a whole episode on Jalen Walker. His own couch scout is Jalen Walker.
I messaged you before we did this. I'm like, are we ranking Jalen Walker? And you're like, yeah, because we didn't do it for the linebacker episode. But I'm like, yeah, but is he either of those positions?
Yeah, I don't know what he is. Like I said,
here's my take on Jalen Walker. I think he's going to be an off-ball linebacker that kicks back into zone coverage. You're not going to ask him to cover one-on-one, but you want him to be able to watch the field with his eyes because he probably has some of the best football instincts outside of Travis Hunter in this draft class. He knows exactly where to be on a football field. He's in the right position. He's always making the right play. And I think when you put him strictly as a defensive lineman, that limits all of that. So just keeping him as an off-ball linebacker opens up so much opportunity for him.
He's a 3-4 edge rusher. He's going to be
that's an off-ball linebacker. It's a 3-4 outside linebacker.
Well, a 4th. Well, yeah, if he's playing 4-3, then. But I think he's more of an edge. I'd rather him in an edge like.
I want him standing.
Yeah,
I don't want him down.
I don't think he can put his hand in the dirt. But off-ball linebacker is different. Like I consider, like a 3-4 off-ball linebacker is a defensive end. He's an edge rusher. But a 4-3 off-ball linebacker isn't always a blitzer. They're just kind of a.
No, I want him. That's what I want. I want him to roam.
Okay, I want him as a 3-4 off edge rusher.
Yeah, no, I want him to be able. I want him to be able to play zone. I want him to be able to watch the whole field. I just want him as a linebacker to watch the field and make plays.
I want Brian Flores to get this guy. There's no chance Minnesota gets. Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
no.
Maybe there's
a
minuscule chance. I've seen it. I saw a mock recently on NFL.com like 4 days ago where Jalen Walker went to Minnesota.
I don't think he falls out of the top 10. He's so good, dude.
Either do I. But I think, I think his role is Andrew Van Ginkel. Andrew Van Ginkel does a lot of off-ball, back in the coverage, but he also blitzes a ton.
Blitzes, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah.
He's going to do both.
Ultimately, I think he's more of a blitzing linebacker than he is a coverage linebacker. So that's why I settled with him. I don't
want him in like man-on-man coverage, but I want him in zone, just be able to watch the field because of his football instincts. He's so quick to hit gaps, hit the breaks. His eyes are great. He knows exactly where the quarterback's going at all times, dude. He reads the quarterback like a book, dude.
Yeah. If I would evaluate him as a straight linebacker, he still would have been my linebacker 3 behind Jahad Campbell and Demetrius Knight. He's my edge 3.
I had him 2 on the linebacker board.
His skill set's really unique. I think it's going to be real scheme dependent, and defensive coaches are going to need to have a plan for him ahead of time. Sure. This isn't a guy you draft and then figure it out. This is work ahead. Like, hey, we're looking at Jalen Walker. How are you utilizing him? Talent, more importantly, the character's there for him to be a star. I'm not quite in the he should go top 10 camp, but I do understand why that hype train is there. I'm more comfortable mid first round. I love his violence with his hands. I love that he plays powerful for an undersized edge rusher. True athlete. I think that's going to be a selling point. Rushes a little forward at times. Power in his hips is really good. He drives blockers backwards despite being a little smaller. He's real twitched up.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate versatility weapon on the second level of defense. Brings good run defense, good pass rush ability, QB spy ability, like you said, drop him back in zone coverage. He's a son of a coach, real high football IQ, high character guy. Undersized for an edge. Anticipation and coverage isn't great. Limited play experience as well.
Mm-hmm.
Entered this year with less than 300 career snaps on defense. He takes blocks on square at times, and then he just kind of gets stuck in the mud. But the upside's there for him to just be this real jack of all tools, creative defensive piece.
Yep. Yeah, he could be used around as like a multi-scheme kind of twitchy, blitzy linebacker who can coverage here and there and just, like you said, dude, if a defensive coordinator knows what they're going to do with Walker, he's going to blow it out of the water, dude.
Yeah.
Some of the best football instincts in the draft class, just knows how to play, and he plays to win. A legit leader, one of the main leaders in the Georgia locker room, can play both edge and linebacker, and he'll do whatever you ask him to do. He's a legitimate gadget defensive player, incredibly high ceiling, but he's still working on developing all of his skills as he's still an extremely raw pass rusher. But he's got the elite jump off the line, very quick to attack, can be a menace to offensive tackles if they're not ready. He might be the best hybrid linebacker edge player in the draft class. Rushing the passer from a standing position is where he's going to shine. He can kick out into coverage if asked. He's not going to be able to do one-on-one, but he can do zone. He can watch the field like a hawk, dude. He knows what he's doing. He has the power to move guys off their base, really strong hips. He can drive through guys. He does have below average size. He's undersized for an edge for sure. So he does get engulfed by offensive linemen at some points. Like if you're asking this guy to be a straight defensive end, it's going to be harder for him to succeed at the next level just because of his size and his arm length. He can't really bull rush kind of guys, but he plays with the right leverage and his hips. He moves guys that are way bigger than him for sure. So his speed to power ratio is really good.
Yeah.
He just needs to develop more, dude. He needs to develop more techniques to be an edge rusher. But I think once he puts it all together, dude, and has a coordinator to give him a specific job and duty every Sunday, he's going to shine.
Yeah. He's a guy where I think he needs to go to a place with a defensive-minded head coach or just a really strong defense. Like New England might be a little rich, but Mike Vrabel and him, I think that would work.
I'd be fine with that at 4.
Carolina's got a really good defensive coordinator, Rivero. So I see Walker in Carolina working. San Francisco's obviously got Bob Saleh. I think that's a good fit. Raheem Morris in Atlanta, I think that works really well. Mike McDonald in Seattle, I think that would be the best. Let him just do work there. I also like him in Tampa with Todd Bowles. Like I think a defensive-minded coach or a really strong defensive coordinator has to get this guy and have this plan ahead of time for him. It's going to be good coaching that pushes him to that ceiling.
Yeah, you have to know what you're doing with him and have to mold him the right way. If you're just throwing this guy to the wind and have no like molding or stability or a great system, he's going to crumble and he's going to fail. So like if look at like Josh Allen, if he was thrown into Buffalo without Brian Dable, who knows how it would have planned out. He was extremely raw, but he had every single trait coming out. He just needed to be molded, and that's what Brian Dable did to Josh Allen. He turned him into a superstar, arguably the best quarterback in the league. Jalen Walker could be an amazing elite pass rushing, skilled player, linebacker, edge combo if he falls to the right system, dude. And I'm so excited to see where he goes on draft day.
Yeah. All right. Mike Green, Marshall.
Dog.
6'3", 251, 8.5-inch hands, 32 and 3/8-inch arms, 77 and 3/4 inch wingspan. Ran a 4.25 3-cone, 6.85 3-cone, 4.25 short shuttle. Didn't do any other testing. I said it when I was talking about Josiah Stewart. Mike Green, easily my favorite tape study of the whole process, offense and defense. This is my guy. I love his game. I love his motor. It's unmatched. Sometimes It's a little too juiced up.
Yeah.
He's got a full arsenal of pass rush moves, maybe the most in the class.
Yep.
He goes out, he plays with a purpose. He loves making initial contact. His body control's out of this world. He does lack the ideal size for the position, and we can't ignore the allegations from when he was at Virginia. But I fully expect him to be an elite sack producer at the next level. His work against the run is passable. He does tend to leave his feet and lunge at ball carries instead of wrapping up, but he's got this relentless motor. He's always go, 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 whether it's chasing down the quarterback or getting the ball carrier in the backfield. But I think Mike Green is a special football player. Like it's a shame that Abdul Carter is incredible. He is a true blue chip prospect, but it kind of is overshadowing just how good Mike Green is.
Yeah, Mike Green is definitely the tier under Abdul Carter. He's not a blue chip prospect like Carter is, but damn, dude, he's going to be a really good NFL player. Like you said, he's a high energy pass rusher. His way to win at the line, it's tremendous. He has the deepest bag in this class. I don't think it's even close.
He does.
He's so smooth, natural pass rushing ability. Everything looks smooth for this guy and natural, unlike Landon Jackson. Good mix of power and finesse as well. He can go around the line or through it. His hips are always loose, nice bend. His play speed is incredibly high. That does leave him a little bit burnt out late in games. I did notice. I would like to see him more involved later in games, but he's such a high energy motor kind of guy. He kind of runs thin. He lacks elite mass and length at the next level. He can be moved around by bigger linemen due to his lack in size. And like you said, he's way too quick to leave his feet for some reason, which is a really weird thing for a defensive end. Just stay grounded,
button.
Dude.
He's hitting that square button too quick.
Yeah, for sure, dude. He's diving left and right all over the place. Just stay on the ground, stay grounded, anchor down a little bit. But the way this guy can win at the line, he can win so quick. He sheds blocks with ease.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Green's got every ability to be an elite pass rusher in the NFL.
Yeah, to me, it's, inexperienced competition level. It's there.
Yeah.
It's
him
something,
playing at Marshall.
Yeah, but he was productive as all hell. And then
so good, dude.
The suspension that at Virginia and then having to be forced to transfer, that is concerning. Obviously, we don't have any, like Mike Green wasn't charged.
He's been open and honest about everything, though.
Yeah, he said that he was never interviewed. He's denied any wrongdoings. He was never charged with anything. No formal charges were even filed. So it is what it is. NFL teams will have way more information than we can get on this subject.
Yeah.
So if he does fall, I think that's the reason why. Because there's nothing on tape. There's nothing on tape that says he should be falling out of the top 20.
No, I agree. I think he's going to go top 15 to 20. That's his window. He's going to go really high in the NFL draft.
Cincinnati is his floor. If he gets
if Cincinnati
to the Bengals,
would pass on Mike Green, that would be laughable, dude.
That would be concerning.
It would. But honestly, everything I hear out of the combine,
scouts, though.
He is incredibly open and honest about everything. He will answer every question about it. He's not hiding anything. And he's had the same story since day one of the allegations getting dropped at Virginia. Nothing has changed. He has not switched up at all. I don't think it's going to be an issue come draft day. I think Mike Green goes incredibly high. Yep. And whoever gets him is going to be tremendously thrilled for the next 5 to 8 seasons.
He's another guy. I love him at 8 to Carolina. I would love him at Carolina. Love him at San Francisco at 11.
New Orleans, I get they used to draft big, strong defensive ends, but they have a new regime now in New Orleans. New Orleans needs pass rush. Any team would be happy with Mike Green. It's Chicago, not even a question.
Chicago at 10.
Yeah.
All right. Edge 1, Abdul Carter, Penn State, 6'3", 250.
Turn the podcast off. Everyone knows about Abdul Carter, the blue chip prospect in this draft class.
9 3/4 inch arms, or hands. God,
keep doing it. This is like the third time this episode.
It's not lined up on my doc. 79 1/4 inch wingspan, 33 inch arms. You didn't do any of the testing due to the injury. So there aren't many superstars in this draft class. Abdul Carter is a superstar, a true blue chip prospect. Even with the foot injury that came up at the combine, I think Abdul Carter is a no-brainer top 4 pick in this class. And he didn't take any interviews from any teams outside the top 4. He went to New England, New York, Cleveland, Tennessee, the only teams he interviewed with. He knows. He's not
Yep.
falling past 4.
He's not.
The scary part of his game, though, is that he's still trending upwards as an edge rusher. Like, prior to this season, he was an off-ball linebacker. His arsenal as a pass rusher is growing, even as, like, he's a disruptor, he's physical, he's aggressive, he knows how to win, he strikes fear into a quarterback. Like, he may not be the ideal size, but he's got the it factor to be a top-level edge for years. He's explosive, literally and laterally. He's comfortable dropping into coverage and covering ground. He strikes first at the point of attack. Great burst off the line, great body control. Like, it's really hand usage for him that he's got to improve, and the fact that he's just still raw as a player. But yeah, and then the foot injury.
His arms
Yep,
are a
and
little
his
small.
Yeah, like, but his arms have always been small. So
Yeah, exactly.
every
It's not a
minor,
huge
every
concern.
flaw for Abdul Carter is very minuscule. Like,
Oh yeah, and they're all flaws that 8 to 10 guys in this draft class have. There are so many guys in this draft class that have just the 4 or 5 flaws that he has, and they're all so minute for him. They're all so small. So yeah, dude, he's the first man out of his break every single snap. He gets his hands on the offensive lineman before the offensive lineman can get even out of his break. He'll fight through blocks, plays hard for all 4 quarters, super high motor, amazing bend around the line. The body control is elite. He's always in the right spot for tackles. He explodes in and out of breaks, keeps his hands and feet moving quick. Hands could use a little bit more defining, but it's not a huge issue. Longer armed offensive linemen are his one weakness, just based off his arm size. He can't explode into the tackles just based off of arm extension. It is what it is. But his ability to cover range due to his fast, long strides, super deep bag of tricks, really nice spin move, nice chop, nice dig, nice punch. He has it all, dude. There's not a thing that he doesn't have. There's not a trait he doesn't have, because all of his flaws are he's undersized. He can't control his size. His arms are too short. He didn't pick his arm size.
He didn't drink enough milk.
Okay, it's all things he was born with. It's God damn it.
Yeah.
But if the Giants pass on him at 3, dude, I will be a very angry person for probably the next 150 episodes of this podcast, just salty as hell.
Nick won't be on
but
the
I'm not
podcast
gonna lie
after
to
the
you.
draft. It'll just be me.
I'm so worried just because the Giants are a shitty organization. He's just the next Saquon Barkley. We draft this elite freak athlete out of Penn State and we just ruin his career because we don't know how to do anything as an organization. And then he ends up in Philly in 6 years and he's the fucking best defensive end in football.
If you guys
and I'll sit here and cry. I'll just cry.
Pass on Abdul Carter.
I will be so mad, dude.
It will be all owner based. It'll all be John Mara being like, "You're taking the quarterback." Yeah. It won't be decision making. Like, it won't be Sheen and Dayball. I think like they know like you're just gonna take the best player in Abdul Carter, and like he's gonna be 1 or 2 on every big board. In my eyes, he should be below 2.
Speaking of the Giants passing on Carter, I live with our cousin, Maddie, and Maddie comes home from work today, and he comes in and he goes, "Nick, you're way more in tune with the NFL draft than I am." He went, there was a headline on ESPN today that went, Sanders to New York. He went, are they talking about the Giants picking him at 3? And I went, yes, it's still a possibility. The door's obviously open for Sanders to go 3 to the Giants. And at both times we said it because we're both Giants fans. We both went, I'll just stop liking the Giants if we pass up on Carter or Hunter for Shadur, dude. It would be insane. We have the 3rd pick in the draft one of the 2 blue chip prospects
never
in this draft class.
A need at the top of the draft.
Yeah, dude, it would be insane. I have no gripes with like us trading back into the 1st for Sanders, but for Sanders to go 3, dude, that's way too rich for me, dude. And we'll get there in our top 100. I have nowhere close to that.
I agree, and I like Shadur Sanders, but I wouldn't take him top.
You like him more than
15.
I do, yeah, for sure.
All right. Recap top 15 edge rushers, and then we'll head on out. I have Ashton Gelati at 15 from Louisville, Olufemi Oladejo from UCLA at 14, Princely Uman Mielen from Ole Miss at 13, Landon Jackson, the robot pterodactyl from Arkansas at 12, Braden Swinson from Louisiana State. LSU at 11. Josiah Stewart from Michigan at 10. JT Tuimoloau from Ohio State at 9. James Pierce Jr., Tennessee at 8. Nick Scorton, Texas A&M at 7. My guy, Mikael Williams from Georgia at 6. Donovan Ezeraku, Boston College at 4. Shamar Stewart, Texas A&M at 3. Jalen Walker, Georgia at, or Shamar Stewart at 4. 3's Jalen Walker from Georgia. 2 is Mike Green from Marshall. And 1, obviously, Abdul Carter from Penn State.
As he should be. My top 15 is Josiah Stewart, Michigan at 15. Kyle Kennard, South Carolina at 14. Ashton Gelati, Louisville 13. Jack Sawyer, Ohio State 12. Princely Umami Ellen, Ole Miss at 11. Top 10 is Brandon Swinson, LSU. JT Tuimoloau, Ohio State at 9. Mikael Williams, Georgia at 8. James Pierce Jr., Tennessee at 7. Nick Scorton, Texas A&M at 6. Top 5 is Donovan Ezeraku, Boston College. Shamar Stewart, Texas A&M at 4. Jalen Walker, Georgia, 3. Mike Green, Marshall, 2. And then Abdul Carter, Penn State, dude. He hopefully falls to the Giants at 3, dude, and I will be a happy, happy man come draft day.
Yeah, there it is. That's it.
Now,
Couch
real
Scout
quick, because we got our top 100 coming up. Who do you think, just off the top of your head, name one guy that we're going to have tremendously different in their top 100?
Well, I think it's going to be quarterbacks. It's going to be Shador.
Jackson Dart's going to be one of them.
Shador Sanders and Jackson Dart. It's going to be both of them.
I think Shador we're going to have relatively close, but Jackson Dart we're going to be way off. And then possibly Cam Scadaboo as well. That's another guy that might be a little bit off.
Oh, are you talking about consensus or just us in general?
No, just you and I. Because I don't want to get into it, but I'm probably not going to have him on my top 100.
Same.
Oh, okay. We're hating Cam Scadaboo on this podcast. I love it.
Don't hate him.
I love it. I'm
not as a top 100 guy with him.
That makes me tremendously hyped.
Josh Connerly Jr., I think, is going to be a guy who's we're going to be big gapped as well. There we go. Couch Scout series. We're done. No more till next year.
Yeah, dude. It's in the books, baby.
Yep. So we will do our top 100. We'll kind of run through them, and then we'll kind of just talk about, like, consensus-wise, who were higher and lower, why we feel that way, stuff like that. And then that'll be 1 week till the draft. We'll do that Thursday. And then Monday, we're going to be a day earlier than usual. We're going to do our final, what we think is going to happen, 2-round mock draft. And there might be some trades, too.
Probably some trades.
Yeah. But that'll be it. Drafted Up Podcast. You know where to find us, at @DraftedUp_pod on Twitter. More importantly, the show, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. You can watch us over on YouTube. Search Drafted Up Podcast. We'll be there. Like, rate, subscribe, review. If you got this far and you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Just do it. Subscribe. Turn your notifications on for when we post videos, all that good stuff. Pass the word about. Share it with your friends. We appreciate all the love and support from you guys, and we'll catch you guys later this week. Adios.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.